Hello everyone and welcome to Cricket World TV. I'm Jim White, with me John Pennington. John, thanks again for joining us.
Pleasure, Jim.
It's been a fascinating game, the third test here at Edgbaston. A lot of rain around, it was seen as going to be a draw, and really both teams had a chance possibly to go on and win. So it really wasn't a dull draw but an interesting draw, John. Is that your sort of take of it today?
I think you've hit the nail on the head, Jim. Spot on. It was a draw, but it wasn't until the last sort of maybe half hour when it was clear the game was going to be drawn and Ravi Bopara was bowling some rubbish. And obviously Clark was sort of just being allowed to get to his century before the game was called off. But before that, yes, it had a bit of everything. There was balls swinging around, James Anderson was bowling beautifully, some good batting in between, and then going into the final day, in theory, all four results were possible. It would have taken a giant leap for, say, Australia to have won, there to have been a tie, but it wasn't the cards. It was entertaining stuff.
We talked about the washout there on, I think it was the third day, wasn't
Saturday,
it?
Yeah.
So, but from the beginning, do you want to just talk through the game from with Australia winning the toss and electing to?
Well, it started with a washout. Really, it was raining all Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, most of Thursday. They didn't get on until 5 o'clock on the Thursday when this game started, and Australia made a really good start. Shane Watson promoted to opener. Philip Hughes dropped. He told the world via Twitter. And then obviously Watson opened, Belling for Peterson. That was the change we expected. Last minute change for Australia, Graham Manu in for Brad Haddin, who broke a finger during the warm-ups as the toss was being taken place. England, very sort of graciously, some might say, but say, well, fair enough, it's the spirit of the game, that's what you do, said yes, you may name a replacement. So then Australia won the toss, chose to bat, and closed on, I think, 116 for 2 on day one. Day two, first two deliveries, Shane Watson out, Mike Hussey out, both to Graham Mullins, who he bowled superbly on that second morning, but it wasn't him who ended up with the best bowling figures. James Anderson rather stole his thunder a little bit. 5 for 80, Australia all out for 263. Well, it was just the contrast between days 1 and day 2 was amazing. Once the ball started to swing, England were on top.
It was about the 30 over mark, wasn't it? Because it really was hooping in both directions, and that really is where Jimmy Anderson comes into his own.
He did, and he was just terrorising. Marcus North, for example, just couldn't lay back on ball in the end. Flash of the wide on, brilliant catch by Matthew Brown. Human Onions really did sort Australia out in that first innings. So England came to bat. They made a decent start. Andrew Strauss, another half century, 69 for him. Alistair Cook fell early, as did Ravi Bopara. There were a few runs then for Ian Bell. He made 53. And then the Flintoff show came out and just blasted to. He loves batting at Edgbaston. He's got a top score here. We all remember that game in 2005. And wonderful batting from him, 74, I think it's 79 balls. And then Stuart Broad got in there, he started batting up Flintoff as well. 55, he made Graham Swanwick 24 in 20 balls. Ben Hilfenhaus just missed out on 5 for again, 4 for 109, as England took a 123 run first innings lead, and left Australia plenty of time to either bat out the game or try and force a result.
And that really is what England were after, wasn't it? Some early wickets, stuck into Australia again, and give them a chance of a last day or last session run chase, but not to be.
That's right. I mean, obviously you've got to remember 2 days were lost, so it was always going to have to be sort of condensed into that final day. They got 2 down overnight. Katic and Ponting, beautiful delivery from Graham Swan to get rid of Ricky Ponting on the fourth evening, but Australia, in the end, they comfortably saved the day. I mean, Watson scored another half century. 2 of his 3 Test half centuries came in this match, which is extraordinary. Mike Hussey found some form, found some touch, he made 64, and then Clark and North put on 150 plus for the 5th wicket, and that took the game away from England. North, slightly unluckily maybe, or some might say deserved a century, got out for 96. Clark survived being dropped on 38. He had the ball at his stumps, but he wasn't bowled. He was then called off an over 96, and the last action of the match was him hitting the ball for 4 to get his 100. After the players shook hands, 3-7-5 for 5.
You mentioned there potentially 100 there for Marcus North. It really was a stunning catch by Jimmy Anderson of all people at Gully. He may have found his spot there.
It was interesting. He was sort of rotating the bowlers and rotating the fielding positions. We had 2 men on the drive and 2 men at short mid wicket for Graham Manu, which I didn't realise Andrew Strauss was such a keen follower of Sheffield Shield cricket. He's obviously got some plans there. Someone's told him something, and they did manage to wrap Manu on the finger as the other wicketkeeper, but I don't think that'll be a big worry for Australia.
No, I mean, they're only going to look at a day or so to call for someone else from home. I'm sure there's enough people playing in leagues around England to get someone in there to keep behind the stumps. But yeah, great fight back by Australia.
It was very impressive.
As you said there, it looked as though if England could have cracked on with a couple of wickets, they may have got back into the, well, easier but forced the pace of the game, as they had done when they were batting to try and push for a result.
Absolutely. Australia on the final day, they couldn't afford any bad sessions, even bad half sessions. They didn't have any bad half sessions. They were always building partnerships. There was only one partnership that just didn't work on the final day, and it didn't matter because that was the one preceding North and Clark.
And on the bowling front, encouraging signs that probably Mitchell Johnson is now just starting to sort of get stuck into the bowling. There's a few little head-to-heads with Flintoff and Broad I saw, which I think in a way really is part of their makeup. That's what really got them fired up, and good to see, in a way, from a cricketing point of view, him starting to come back towards his best.
That's right. No, Mitchell Johnson actually bowled some pretty good stuff. Got rid of Belding in the second innings, and
unlucky enough to have had him 2 or 3 times.
Well, indeed, if that were possible. But yeah, no, he actually looked like he knew where the ball was supposed to land when it came out of his hand, as opposed to the previous 2 games. It's been all over the place. And Hilfenhaus House impresses every time I see him. Really, he's waited a fair amount of time to get into the team, and he's really not making any mistake. Brett Lee might come back. Peter Siddle, potentially, his place in doubt.
Of course, Stuart Clark waiting on the sidelines, always a wicket taker.
Absolutely. So Australia with options, but they've still got to win because they're 1-0 down.
So there it is, 1-0 down after 3 tests, and the next one, of course, starts on the Friday. Man of the match, Michael Clark, as you mentioned there, John, getting 100, superb 100 from him. I'm sure it really was the highlight of the game. And unfortunately, we lost 2 and a bit days to rain.
Wasn't it a cracking game?
It would have been
5 days, wasn't it?
And I think also that, it's fair to say that if we'd had the time, would England have played so positively in the middle of session? But maybe now that if they've been forced that way, they might actually take it on as being the way to play cricket.
I think they would, Jim, because people like Pryor, Flintoff, Swan, that's the way they play. It's the way they play best. Broad can, I think, and should be a bit more flexible because he's going to be in the team for quite a while. He could well be the man to step up to Flintoff's role of batting all-rounder. But on that day, he was coming off, so yeah, definitely. You've got to play hard, positive cricket to beat Australia.
Brilliant. Well, on hard, positive cricket as well, we'll finish it. And tune again next time for our next Cricket World show, and I look forward to seeing you then.